Hello everybody, всем привет. Today I want to talk about building the spellbook and basically just being able to display what the hero has learned from either the spell shrines or the mage guilds, and filtering between things and getting some basic functionality working. Let's actually just pull up the game quick, and I have previously compiled a list here of all the different spells, their levels, their spell index number according to my spreadsheet, and then the spell.icn index, which these are not in order at all. If you look, Fireball is the first one here, and that is number 16 on my list here. So that's just kind of random. And we also have the spellbook icons, which these are the actual pages. This is mirrored to make the other side of the spellbook. These are the page turning elements up there I think these are included to give it a click box. And then this is I'm calling it the bookmark for the adventure spells, the bookmark for combat spells, and the bookmark to exit. So if we just go into a quick standard game, let's build a mage guild, buy a spellbook for our guy here, Lord Kilburn, and we can click. Okay, we only have one adventure spell. We have some combat spells. If we had more spells, we could actually click, and it would show us multiple pages of spells here. But right now we can just click between adventure spells, view combat spells. It says close spellbook down at the bottom on this info bar, view next page, view previous page. And then we also get these tooltips if we click on these various things in, I guess, the various spells. That's what it is. So that's our goal right now, is just if we enter the hero screen any which way, to be able to click on the spellbook. That's what we're trying to build today. So I have this documentation here ready, the spells, what the spell ICN index is, so it knows which image to look up when it loads spell.icn, the book ICN, so it knows how to display a spell book. And then I gave it an example image here of this spell book. And then also, if you have a hero that spawns with a spell book, like a warlock or a sorceress, but you don't have a mage guild yet, and you click on your spell book, it gives you this message: no spells to cast. So I give it the book spec info this is just to give it the width and height of these different sprites in that file. And I give it my usual, I'm rebuilding the game engine for Heroes Might and Magic 1. Want to display a spellbook screen. Want to display it on the hero screen. The hero will be able to click on their spellbook in their artifact inventory and have it bring up their spellbook. No spells are available. The spellbook will be empty, and a dialog box with no spells to cast will be shown. That's this, with an OK button. This uses the buy border dialog box similar to events. I can actually just show you buy border here real fast. It's such a fundamental element of this. Oh, it's actually buy build. Oops. That's probably why I didn't find it, because I said buy border and not buy build. But anyway, that's where all of these dialog boxes are built. And I initially started using this in events, and I actually think I'm probably going to abstract this out and make just a dialog box function that then is called by events, is called by everything, all these other screens. Just because I'm finding that code is being used a lot, but it's not. It's in everything, and it needs to be correctly called as a separate function, written in one place and used repeatedly. Because currently each each of these screens kind of comes up with their own version of this, and it's all the same. And so I think I'll probably have to do a bit of a refactoring exercise pretty soon to pull all of these out and get them in one place and improve the architecture of the whole software project with that. Because otherwise it does start to look a little bit like vibe coded slop if every single function is loading just the sprites it needs, which I put a stop to, but it was kind of starting to go in that direction. And then it also, if every function or every screen has its own by border or by build border box, by build border box, that's a great tongue twister. So by build border box in each screen, that's repetitive code. That's not, it's not really efficient. It makes the executable larger. It's just sloppy. So we're gonna put a stop to that pretty soon and come up with a better way to do this. But anyway, I spell out here the Spellbook right page. The left page is the mirrored version of this. Actually, it's in book here. So again, this, and then we would mirror this to show the left page. And then there's these sort of dog-eared pages that go at the top, and those are the depressed on click versions of this spellbook. Then we have the adventure spell bookmark, the combat spell bookmark, the exit spell bookmark. I describe how this is laid out and kind of the approximate layouts, that this is 194 pixels high, so 63 pixels above, 63 pixels below, and it should be laid out so that this spine of the book here is at 320 pixels halfway across the 640 by 480 screen, so that the other half then reflects nicely and the spellbook just shows up in the center of the screen like this. So I give it that description. I highlight that this is the upper, these are the upper corners of the page. Then I give it approximate coordinates of this combat, adventure, and exit. I guess that it's like about 22 pixels off on the X direction. This one's about 50 pixels off. So I'm saying this is about 50 pixels off the center. This is about 22 pixels off the center. And I'm just ballparking it. I usually just do that for a quick one shot, and then I'll go in and kind of tune it to be much closer. And eventually I'll probably have to do some kind of measuring with rasterization where I do actual pixel counts, but that's going to be like the final polish of checking all these. Then I want the spells. I want the bookmark button to filter the spells to be only the adventure spells up to 2 per page, meaning 2 per page like this. If the user clicks on the view next page or the view previous page, which is this or this, then we're going to go back and cycle through those spells, if any. So if we have enough spells to do that. I basically describe the same for the combat spell bookmark, the exit spell bookmark. This is located on the right, and this just exits the spellbook. It takes you back to the hero screen or the battle screen or the adventure screen if applicable, because this is currently shown on the hero screen, but we're going to have the same functionality on the battle screen when we're trying to cast spells, and the same functionality on the adventure screen when we're also trying to cast adventure spells. So we'll be casting combat spells in battle, in the combat screen. Then I explain how the spells are shown. So it's the spell ICN, like these icons here. And I've attached this spell info CSV, which is basically this file, which has a description. And I give it the header of that file. And this type lets us filter between attack spells, combat spells. I think I meant to say adventure spells and combat spells. Okay, oops, that's a typo, but it'll probably get it right. We'll see. In the spellbook, the spells are displayed 2 per page. The boxes mostly aligned on the center of the page, and they are displayed in cells that have spell image, spell name, and remaining casts for this hero. So this is like how many, this guy who's actually my profile picture on the channel, Ergon, I think, he had a knowledge of 4 because he picked up one of the scrolls of knowledge. And so he was able to learn 4 of each of these spells. So that's displayed in like brackets next to it. And then when you cast the spell, if you cast Bless, then that gets decremented by 1. And I explained that down here. Remaining cast for the hero. And then also right-clicking on the spell brings up the tooltip that uses the by border, which I say by border, I meant by build dialog box. And we see the tooltip similar to what I did on the hero screen, which I can maybe show you quickly here on the hero screen. So this, just basically this box. So that's all. So I gave it the hero screen code. So I'm saying, hey, look at that tooltip that's on the hero screen. And what we do for that is we show the spell name, the spell description wrapped at 28 characters. So this is the spell description, but basically every 28 characters, that's a line. So it would, what I mean by that is it's word wrapped to 28 characters. Then we have the spell image and the spell name again. So the spell name is at the top and the bottom. It's a little redundant, but that's what it is. Left clicking brings up a box, and then you have to click OK to close that box. Right clicking just shows the box while you're right clicked. And then the spells are only shown if they've been learned. If the hero uses all the spells, then it disappears. We don't have to track how many times it was cast. It's just decremented from the amount that the hero learned. And yeah, if it drops to 0, it's no longer shown in the spellbook until it's learned again in a mage guild or a spell shrine. The info bar in the hero screen, which is this thing at the bottom, shows view spells when the spellbook is open. It shows view next page when the cursor hovers over the upper right corner. It shows view previous page when the cursor hovers over the upper left corner. View adventure spells when the cursor hovers over the adventure spell bookmark. View combat spells when the cursor hovers over the combat spell bookmark. And close spellbook when we're over the exit bookmark. This is in the hero screen. The spellbook captures all clicks until the exit bookmark is clicked. So that prevents us from like clicking over here and having something else come up while the spellbook is open. So we ran that prompt, came up with some ideas, and gave me a little spellbook integration. I forgot to give it resources CPP, which is where I had actually already specified spells .icn for the Mage Guild, but I didn't, and I had done book in preparation for this. I had said, oh yeah, load book.icn, but I forgot that I had done that. I gave it the hero screen that I had updated with some of the spellbook integration, as well as the game main that I had updated. And it had said here that the spellbook is artifact 00. That was actually in my spellbook integration. It had said, oh, here it is, artifact ID 00. Now that is not the correct artifact ID for the spellbook. The game gives 0x25, so 25 in hex. I think this is 37, so that's 32 plus 5, so 37 is the actual value of the spellbook. It's the 37th artifact. So the AI just like assumed that the spellbook is 00 because it's in the first slot, and that's just stupid. It's not, it's this. But I didn't give it any documentation to tell it that. So here I'm correcting it and saying this is the artifacts table. Resources CPP already had the ICN files loaded and they were done more efficiently. And then it gave me a bunch of weird hero screen edits, and I said, just make those changes for me. So it did all that, made the updates to these. And then I said, oh, hey, we need to do this info bar thing, because it had given me these unclear instructions for integration in Infobar. And I was like, let's do that. And then I stopped because it started saying, oh, let's look at the system ICN Infobar. And I was like, actually, you don't need to do that because it's already in the screen. And then I said that, and then I stopped it again because I realized I didn't give it the screen. But we're going to use this as the Infobar, and this is the hero screen that's in the Heroes AGG by default. So we don't need to overlay anything. We just need to write the text down there. And I gave it the approximate X values of 320, and this is 480 tall, so I guess that's about 470. And so 320, 470, we're going to write the text around here in the center of the bar. And so perfect, yeah, it likes my coordinate calculations, it double checks a few things, does all this, and then gives me that version. And then, I give it some screenshots, but what I want to do is show everyone what the results of that one shot were. So let's just load up Claw. We're gonna buy a Mage Guild, buy a Spellbook for Tyro. We got Slow, Curse, and View Minds. Wonderful. So we are getting the tooltips. The tooltips are working, but we don't have the right box. The click box is a little large. I'm trying to get the adventure spells, combat spells, adventure spells. It's a little hard to click on that exactly. And then exit. So it was kind of working. Okay, but I wasn't happy with this display. If you look really closely here, you can see there's like a 3, because this was a sorceress. And then there's some weird, like the font is not liking the brackets on either side. So this is displaying correctly, but it's only displaying one spell. So I think it interpreted my 2 spells per page as 2 spells per, like 1 spell per actual page here, which isn't what I wanted, but okay, that's what we're getting. So this, and then I gave it the correct. This is what we actually want to display here. So pretty good, it kind of works. 2 minor improvements. The spell name and the count of spells, something weird is weird with the braces. And then the spellbook should have the spells displayed at 2 per page, so there are 4 total, 2 vertically stacked. See that example. The click box for catching the spells should just be on the cell containing the cell sprite, because we had a little bit of trouble when we were clicking here. It was bringing up the spell as well. So the click box was a little too big. So I wanted that fixed. It took a shot at it, and let's see what that looked like. So this is with the layout somewhat fixed. Let's load up Claw. We have Ari and no spells to cast when we haven't built the Mage Guild yet, so that's cool that that functionality is also working. Build a Mage Guild, we get Bless and some View Resources and View Minds. That's pretty standard. This is looking correct. When we do this, we do this. So this is looking a lot better. We still have this weird thing with the braces, but the clicks are being captured much better. So that's good. So I call out the braces still, and then I also call out that it's doing this default dialog box. It's doing the fallback dialog box, and I didn't want that. I want to use the buy build ICN loaded from resources CPP. So it does a pass, and I notice as it's going down here, it's working on. There was something where it was creating it was writing its own OK button from like a golden color and white text. And I was like, no, don't write your own button. Use the OK button that was included in the ICN file. And so I just stopped it and said, do that. And it says, oh yeah, I'll use the system ICN. Yeah, I'll use that. So then it gets this, and let's see what the final iteration was of this. Let's see what this looks like now. So we got a barbarian. So we got some spells and they're showing up, and I changed these to parentheses instead of, this is still a little off center, so we could fix that. But I changed the braces to parentheses because the braces were not well supported by the font that I'm using. And let's just see if we can spawn a sorceress or a warlock and check what happens here. No spells to cast, okay. So that's correct. It's using the correct box now. And we learned some spells, and now when we're in here, we're getting the correct boxes. So this is not bad for displaying the spellbook on the hero screen. And so then I asked it for some documentation, and it made a few notes because I'm going to be also rebuilding this for both the adventure screen and the battle screen. So I basically wanted some documentation that I could use to dump in the context window and just help build this a lot faster. But yeah, that was building the spellbook, and it also didn't take as long as I thought it would.